Hello, my name is Margaret Takaslumang. Now I'm explaining the material from general linguistic, the scientific study of language. Definition of language. Definition of linguistic. What is linguistic? Linguistic is a science which attempts to understand language from the point of view of its internal as well as external structure. Uh, the internal structure consists of phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. The external structure consists of psycholinguistic, sociolinguistic, applied linguistic, uh, com- computational linguistic, historical linguistic, comparative linguistic. What is phonetic? Phonetic is study of the sound produced by the organ of speech. Phonetics is the study of how sound can take shape. A study about physical properties of speech. Phonetic is a branch of linguistics that the study of how humans produce and perceive sounds, or in the case of six language. Aspect of sign language, the equivalent aspect of sign. Three components of phonetic. Number one, articulator. Articulator phonetics. How human plan and execute movie to produce speech. Number two, acoustic phonetic. How different movement affect the property of the resulting sounds. Number three, auditory phonetics. How convert sound waves to linguistic information. Place of articulation. The place of articulation of the consonant is the point contact where an destruction occurs in the vocal tract between articulator gesture and the active articulate, typical to some parts of the tongue, and passive location, typical some part of roof of the mouth. Along with the manner of articulation and the pronation, it gives the consent. Its instinct sounds. Segmental, and then segmental is study about consonant sounds. Compressmental is study about the tone. And next, morphology, the study about the form of the word. Morphemes are important from phonics in both reading and spelling, as well as in vocabulary and comprehension. Semantic, meaning by the sentence, the study of the meaning of word pairs and the sentence. Phonemic, the study of the phonemic system of a language. Language function, and then language function. Language function menggambarkan identitas seseorang. Bahasa mencerminkan kepribadian seseorang. Jadi language is highly developed from the human communication, which has variety of the function. Transmission of the message, of which wake up from the tongue of emergent. Social activity, medium of learning, function of language. Function of language defined into two categories. Microfunction, which refer of speech's individual as. To macrofunction, which the several more overall aims. And then the origin of language. Language is a sound. Language is a sound, and characteristic of language. Language is linear, language is systematic, language is system of system, language is arbitrary, language is conventional, language is contrast, language is creative, language is unique, language is similar. Language is verbal, language is verbal, vocal language is sound. Language is an organization of sound. A vocal symbol, the sound product from the mouth with the help of various organs of speech of conveys some meaningful message. It also means the speech is primary to writing. There are several languages because they are spoken. Music and singing also employ vocal sounds. The they are not language. Language is systematic verbal symbolism is the make us of verbal elements such as sounds, words, and phrases, which are organ in the certain ways to make sentence. Language is vocal in as much as it made up of sound which can be product by the organ of speech. 2. Language is means of communication. Language is the most powerful, confident, and the permanent means and from the communication. Non-linguistic symbol, such as expressive gesture signal of various kind, traffic lights, round six, flag, emblems, and many more such. They are well the shorthand, Morse and other codes, the deaf and dumb and braille alphabet, the symbols, the mathematic and logic, etc. Are also means of the communication, yet they are not the flexible, compress the perfect and extensive as language is. Language is the best means of self-expression. It's the language that humans express their thought, desires, emotions, and feeling. It is through it that they store knowledge, transmit message, knowledge, and experience from the person to another, from one generation of another. Most of the activity the word I carry on to or by it is through the human interact is the language again the occurs the present, the past, and the future together. 3. Language is a social phenomenon. Language is a set of conventional communication signal as by the human from communication in the community. Language in the sense of potential of the social group comprising and the indispensable set of the rules which permit this member to relate to each other. It is social institution. Language exit in sociality is the means of nourishing and developing culture and establishing human relations. It is a member of society. The human being acquire the language. We learn not born with instinct to learn a particular language. English, Hindi, Russia, Bengali, Chinese, Tamil, or French. We learn a language as member of the society, as in that language, or because we want to understand that society or to be understood by that speech community. If a language is not as in any society, it dies out. Language is thus a social event. It can be described only if we know all about the people who are involved in it, their personality, their belief, attitudes, knowledge of the world, relationship to each other, their social status, what activity they are engagement in, they are talking about, what has gone before linguistically and not linguistically. What happened after what they are a house of the fact about them and the situation they are place. 5. Language is vocal, verbal, and sounds. 6. Language is non-instinct, the conventional. 7. Language is production and creativity. 8. Language is system of communication. 9. Language is human and intricately complex. Human language is open-minded. And 10 language is unicomplete and modificable. The super parts of phonetic, speech, sound, and their physiology, production, and qualities. It deals with the configuration of the vocal tract as the product speech sound, the acoustic property of speech sound, and the manner of combining sounds. So take me Sibel's word and the sentence articulation phonetic, a consonant is a speech sound. Thus the articular which complete or particular closure of the vocal tract. Example are pronouns with the lips, pronouns with the front of the tongue, tricky vowel sounds. Vowel sounds are an especially tricky part of English pronunciation because of how flexible and malleable they can be. Monopology, the most the physical vowel sound on the motopology. Mm, mo, mm. And then diphthongs. I want to talk to you about diphthongs. Diphthongs is a single syllable vowel sound in which the beginning of the sound glides to the another slightly different vowel sound. From this reason, diphthongs are often referred to as triphthongs. Very rarely a single verbally word contain their vowel sounds. The squeaky, the gliding, the sounds vowel sound is known as the triphthongs. Pronounced front vowel. They are product with the front part of the tongue. There are 5 front vowel, as in a head high front ba, the first mid mild front unrounded. And then I want to talk about phonetic. Phonetic is a branch of linguistics that study how human product and fixed sounds. At the case of sing language, the phonology study of the speech sound system of the language include the rules of combination and asynchronous syntax, the rules that pertain to the ways in which words can be combined from the sentence in language. Semantic, the means of the word and combination of the word in a language. Phonemic, the linguistic smell the unispeech the classic one word of word element from another as the type which separated from the type tak and tan. Type tap and tan, a phoneme may have 10 variant called alphabet Q and V, which function as the single sound. Example as of as follows the phoneme that can define suppressed mental phoneme and the process point nasal ligation. Voice of non-support in group. Morphology, the study of words and their part. The study of morpheme. Morpheme, the smallest unit which has a meaning or grammatical function that the word can be broken down, a short segment of language. The smallest grammatical unit of speech. There are 2 types of morpheme. Free morpheme, bound morpheme. Free morpheme are morpheme that has individual meaning and can be formed independently. For example, free, get, human, love, happy, bad, and or when, etc. Free morpheme can be categorized from some type. 1. Lexical morpheme. 2. Grammatical and function morphemes. 3. Lexical morpheme that are large in the number definitely meaningful. The lexical morpheme include nouns, adjective, verb. For example, dog, good, home, boy, girl, excellent, etc. Adjectives, super, superlative. uh, John is happy. Yeah. mm. And then process of morphology, affixation, replacement, suppletion, zero modification, duplication, compound, morphology process of the underling, affix, internal change. Internet chains replace the process the subtitle one noun more conjugate from another. Kayak jamak dari wife tuh kayak woman, man, man. Perubahan in the middle. Bound morphen, a morphen that does have any independently meaning and can be formed with the help of free morphen. For example, last, nas, un, shift, man. Bound morphen can be categorized into two subclasses: bound root, affix. Bound roots. Those bound morphemes that have lexical meaning when they are included in other bound morphemes from the content root. For example, sieve, tan, praxis, content, retain, affixes bound morphemes that naturally attack different types of words and ask to change the meaning of function for those words. For example, man, enjoyment, payment, enlightenment, and etc. And then mm, mm, a lexical category: one, non plural, possessive, verbal. Misalkan kayak beauty noun, beautiful adjective, beautify verbs. Reduplication morphem. Reduplication, a process forming new words by dubbing a morphem. Contoh 50 50 50 di 50 dili daily habel okay doke. Fine book arts and art syntax is the grammatical structure of word and pairs the creating convent sentence. Example: the boy jumped happily, the boy happily jumped happily, the boy jumped. Syntax: the assignment of word and pairs to create a sentence. Pairs: a group of words which is together as a grammatical unit. For instead the English expression the very in the noun prax. Okay, that's all. Thank you.